Welcome to Taylormade Film Business Podcast, a podcast dedicated to helping you start a successful film production company or any business for that matter. Now, here are your hosts, Bridget and Tony Charles.
Welcome to episode 8 of the Taylormade Film Company podcast. I am your host, Bridget Charles.
And I am Tony Charles.
And this is the Taylormade Film Business Podcast.
Taylormade Film Business Podcast.
A podcast dedicated to everything related to the film production industry as well as the business industry. We take it all together, put it in a cute little package with the bow, and present the content to you.
Just like our company, this is a one-stop shop.
One-stop shop for everything.
Everything.
Whatever you're looking for from a production standpoint, we have you. We have it on lock and key.
Episode 8.
Episode 8.
Just like I said, we didn't have a podcast in our calendar. I can't believe now we are on episode 8.
We are officially podcasters.
Wow, it's amazing.
For those of you who are new to podcasting, be sure to go out there and subscribe to our podcast channels. We're available on all of the podcast platforms.
Yes.
Download those episodes. And if you find this content valuable, be sure to give us 5 stars. We'll keep it coming. And also send us feedback on what you'd like us to talk about next.
Exactly.
Yes.
We are not expert per se, but our goal is to basically like share everything that we went through.
Yes.
You know, it's important for you to go back and listen to our last episodes, you know, and we had great information in there for you.
So true, guys. So go back and listen to episodes 1 through 7 and catch up on everything that we're talking about, just to make sure that you have that content. Take notes, take out your notepads, because we feel that this will really, really help you on your journey in business. And we want you to be successful. We don't want you to make the same mistakes that we made. No. You know, we're going to celebrate our successes as well as be real with you and tell you about the failure so that we can save you both time and money.
Time and money.
Absolutely.
It's very important to save money if you can.
Absolutely. So with Tony.
If you don't have the information, trust me, it's probably going to be the same, probably even worse than we did in our first production.
Yes.
But this
costly
information,
industry.
I'm telling you, this information, you need it, especially if you were to start a film company.
Yes.
Why not?
So true.
It's free.
So true. That's absolutely true. So guys, like Tony said, be sure to subscribe. And we're a full production company. We take you from the start, pre-production to post-production.
Yes.
With that being said, Tony, we need to let the people that's tuning in today know what episode number 8 is about.
Yeah, it's about post-production.
Post-production.
Yes.
That's a mouthful, post-production. And it's just what it sounds like. This is the process after production, post-production.
Yeah.
And to me, this is the most important one out of everything.
This is the engine.
This is the end all be all. All of that hard work that you've put in, planning, to going through your budget, to casting and looking for casting crew, and, you know, practicing and doing all of that. This is your final product. You get all of your footage, your files, you get them all lined up, and this is where you put it all together, and this is what the world's going to see. That's why to me this is the most important out of everything.
This
Tony.
is the most important part of it.
So true, true. Exactly. And post-production is such a broad subject, Tony. We can actually spend several episodes talking about this.
Yes.
We're going to try to put it in a cute little package for
it might
today.
Be a part 2.
Exactly.
You never know.
I'm sure that it will. I'm sure that there'll be people reaching out with questions about, you know, what about this, what about that. So again, send your feedback, subscribe, follow, you know, send us questions and messages and tell us what you'd like to talk about more. And we can definitely go more in depth after this conversation. But to get started, Tony, with post-production, I know that one of your key things is that you really believe that we must have an editor on set.
You have
That's
to.
how post-production begins, your editor.
But it's funny you say that because we actually went through a lot.
Yes.
You know, because our editor for our first project, it took him a long time just to put the footage together.
True.
You know,
so
because we did not have one on set. And our DPs, man, they did such a bad job.
Yes.
You know, putting the footage together. So that's why
our ACs.
Yes,
exactly.
You have to listen because it's going to hurt your pocket.
So true. So true. That is absolutely true, guys. And what Tony is referring to, for those of you who haven't heard the previous episodes, one of our first large solo projects was a project that we did entitled Office Secrets. It started out as a very small project. It ended up being massive in the terms of a smaller production company, if you will.
It grew overnight.
Exactly. And the thing is with that is because it was so much that was involved footage-wise, the people that we hired did not actually organize all of the media the way that they should have. So by the time we got it to an editor, we used a third-party editor that was not on site, that was not there, who didn't know the story as it was being filmed, and basically gave them the footage, gave him the footage. Yeah. And when he received the footage was disorganized. The files were labeled incorrectly. Some of the media files, some of the audio files were missing. He couldn't even sync the material in post because of the way that it was so badly disorganized.
Overall, it was chaos.
It was total chaos. So with that being said, Tony, I think it took him nearly a couple of months just to kind of go through the footage and kind of see what was there. And can you imagine having audio is not labeled, and then you have the video files is not properly labeled, and there was no scratch audio in some of the cameras, so he's sitting there being forced to try to look at the lips and see what the actors are saying just to be able to match it up to the audio. So you guys can actually listen and tell how tedious that process had to have been.
Yes, that's why it's important for people to listen to our podcast.
Exactly.
Because the information is real. This is not, like I said last time, this is not scripted. This is real life stories. This is what we went through. And we don't ever want you to go through what we went through.
So true.
We really we've overspent, for what we, like I said, go back to listen to one of our episodes. I can't remember if it was episode 2 or 3. We talked about you need to pick the right people, the right crew, for your projects, because people sometimes lie in their resume.
Yes, people are not truthful. Yeah, for sure.
And like I said, it will show through their work.
True.
And that's what happened to us.
So true. I'm with Tony on that one. I totally agree. So, guys, it's so important because people are not truthful, and, that's the consequences of things. That's what it is. But at the end of the day, the production company or the person that's responsible, the producer or however your setup is basically they are going to be responsible for paying for that. So the editor may have quoted you one price thinking that you had all your ducks in a row, and then when they get the footage and they look at it, they was like, this is not what I signed up for. And you can't push back, right, because you quickly realize that they are absolutely correct. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not what they signed up for. The footage is everywhere. Files are everywhere. So it's imperative, if at all possible, to have your editor that's going to be editing your project on set.
Yeah, they'll
know the story. Yeah. They can organize it the way that they like to work. Yeah. That's the easiest way.
Yeah, it'll save you time and money.
Yes, that's the easiest way. The person there who's going to be editing is there day in and day out. They are organizing their own footage in a sense because they're going to be the ones working on it. And they know how they like things organized, and it'll make your life so much easier overall from a pre-production. From a post-production standpoint, absolutely. And Tony, with that being said, for those people that cannot have their editors on set, it's a very small production, small budget. One of the key things I think to make post-production easier is they need to ensure that they have enough hard drives on hand.
But before we get to that, sometimes, like I said, there's a lot of people out there, who wouldn't mind to work for free. Just go out there, go on social media and ask people, okay, hey, I'm doing a project and I need somebody to be on set. I need an editor. I don't have money. I can't pay you right now, but just ask for help. You never know. There might be somebody out there who's willing to, work for free.
Yes, and perhaps you can't pay them cash, but you can probably give them credit for the project. Exactly. You're always going to feed your crew well anyways. That's a whole nother episode, but you want to make sure that your crew is eating well. So perhaps you can pay them with credit. You can actually make sure that they eat a really, really good meal, and you can always barter. I can't pay you now, but on the next project, perhaps I can pay you more than your regular rate. Just whatever you have to do to have an editor on set. If you can do it, guys, we are telling you from experience, you will change the game for yourself. You'll make it a smooth process, and you'll really enjoy it overall. And then your end product will be much better than it could have been because, again, you have your editor there, and they're going to make sure that things are up to par and up to their standards.
Don't say, I don't have it in my budget, I can't pay nobody. Reach out to, there's somebody out there that, was willing to work for free.
That's so true.
Do that.
Free or actually cheaper than they may have.
Yes,
yeah. So
exactly.
again, it's all about bartering, guys. Like, you're going to work out those relationships and make those connections. So there's a million different ways to do it. Just find out what'll work for you and whatever you can do to get the editor on set. To me, that's one of the most important crew members to actually have on set. And that's not a traditional crew member in a sense, but I think personally that is important.
Going back to hard drives, it's amazing what we went through that day. We thought we had I think we had about 7, 8 hard drives.
Actually, we had 8 hard drives. We had about 3 that were 8 terabytes.
Yes.
And I think that we had about 4 that were 2 terabytes, and I think that we had one that was 1 terabyte.
And it wasn't enough.
It wasn't, because what you guys need to understand is when you're using cinematic cameras and you're shooting in RAW, the file sizes are huge. So it's not uncommon to see a file size, one single file, just a few minutes long, that's 200 gigabytes. And you can factor in that. I think that a terabyte is about just a little bit over 1,000 gigabytes, right, or something like that. But you can see how fast that'll go, right? So you want to make sure that you have plenty of drives on set, not just a couple of drives. So traditionally speaking, you're going to want to have your master file. That's the one that you're going to put up just in case anything happened, you lose something, you need to recoup something. You're going to have a set of drives for that. You're going to have a set of drives as your backup drives, right? So you're going to need to back up that footage just to have an extra copy on hand. Again, you never know when anything's going to go wrong.
If you can quadruple backup.
And then you're going to want your actual working drive. That's the drive that your editor's going to use. So at the end of the day, when you're actually doing your dailies, if you're going to be doing that on set, that'll be the drive that they work from. You say, I want this piece, I want that piece. They go ahead and they actually mark the points that you want, the footage that you like. The working drives, basically, if you have an editor that's not on set, that'll be the set of drives that you will deliver to your editor so that they can work from.
Yes.
So you see how important drives are, and not just any drives. And some are better than others. It's just like cameras. It's just like lenses. You pay for what you get.
Exactly.
Or actually you get what you pay for, however they said. But at the end of the day, you want actually quality over quantity, so it's really important to have adequate drives.
I believe you have to save to get the best.
Yes, exactly. And then from a production house standpoint, from a production company, you want a master drive where you can back up all that footage, and if you can afford to actually become bigger, you want to back it up to the cloud. What that means is you want to have a copy that's not on the premises. So say you have a building, your building catch on fire or it floods and all of your footage and files are damaged. You need one master file that's put in the cloud that's not on site that you always have backup to. Because believe it or not, clients will come back years later, oh, you shot this project for me and I want to use this. Do you still have that piece of footage?
I know.
Yeah, so yes, and believe me, clients are going to reach out. I need this. Can I pay you to do kind of like a 2-minute something from the footage that you shot 3 years ago? So it's important to have adequate storage, both physical storage on a drive as well as cloud storage. When you really get up there,
you will need several drives. So be prepared. Be prepared.
So true. And when you get those drives, guys, if your editor, again, is not on set and you're organizing the footage, it's so important that you do it the right way. So what we typically have learned since then, and we always try to organize our files. We have a folder for video files, a folder for audio files, a folder for stock footage, a folder for all other things. So you want to, so you want to put all of your footage. Make sure first that it's labeled properly. Use your clapper so that the editor can know what goes where. He can match the scenes. He or she can match the scenes.
Even if you don't have a clapper, just clap your hand. That's another way you can, if you don't have a clapper on set, you can just clap your hand. That will give you indication, where to start.
Which is really important in the software. So most of all of the editors are going to use kind of like a DAW. So basically, this is a software package. Some of the most popular ones are actually Premiere Pro. That's Stu. I think it's Adobe. And then you have Final Cut Pro, which is through Apple. And then you have DaVinci Resolve, which is Blackmagic, which is one of the best in the game. If you could learn how to use it, that's the end all be all in our opinion. But you want to make sure that they're able to take those files, drop it into that software, and then actually start the process of what they call data management, and then they take the script and they'll actually match it to the footage, and they'll actually shift through the footage and make sure that they have everything and they can actually get to work. So the faster that they can do that, the quicker they can get your final product back to you, your final project back to you.
So the question is, what if you don't have an editor on set?
If you don't have an editor on set, then you need to take those steps that I just said. You need to make sure that you have someone there. A lot of sets for smaller projects to use they will pull the AC, pull them to the side sometimes. Sometimes you have someone that is responsible for DIT, like you pull them and they'll be the parties that's responsible for that. Yeah. They'll take the footage and they would be responsible for labeling the footage, making sure that that's correct, organizing the footage on that working drive or those working drives that we mentioned before so that you can hand deliver that to your editor.
Yeah, but like we said earlier, if you can't afford to hire an editor, just go out there and find somebody. Yes. You know,
some want to be glad to do it for the experience.
Oh yeah.
People love being on set, especially when they're first starting out. They just like the movement, like the activity, like the nonstop.
And it's a good experience also.
Exactly. You know? And they learn a lot. Yeah. Tony, I know like when you were starting out, you learned a lot just by being on set.
Oh my God. I remember like my first, I think it was a music video. I was in New York and when I got to set that day, and I was like, wow, okay. I didn't care about the artist. You know, it was mostly the guy that was sitting on that chair. And I was like, this is who I want to be like. Because he was the guy telling everybody what to do, which is the director. Yeah.
So show you how Tony is different, guys. I didn't mean to cut you off. Tony wanted to be like the director, where most people go to set, they want to be like the actor. So everyone, and Tony's worked with some really big names, but he's never concerned with the talent and the big name actors. He's looking at the crew that's behind the cameras that's actually making things happen from that standpoint. So.
And once again, if you really want to learn the industry, if you get a chance to go to set, go to set. Yes. This is the real school.
Absolutely.
You know, and that was my first taste of, you know, even though as a kid, you know, I always had a passion for filmmaking, but that day on set in New York, it was like my eyes were wide open. Yes. This is it. This is what I want to do. I want to be a director. Yes. You know, and once again, you know, school, it's important, but really, like I said, if you have access to go to set, just go. This is the real deal.
I agree. You know? So just as Tony said, guys, that's always going to put you like where you need to be. And the more you go, like the more you learn the entire process and how things work. But to me, going back to the episode here, post-production, in my opinion, is one of the most important. Yeah. Again, this is another whole episode that we'll take a deeper dive. But at the end of the day, what you need to remember is post-production is very important. If you can have an editor on site, even if you have to barter, just whatever you need to do to have the editor there, they can organize the footage how they want it, how they like to work, and that'll make your life easier. If it's a smaller budget and you cannot afford to have an editor on site, be sure to have someone that's dedicated only to that task of taking the footage, organizing the footage, labeling it, making sure that all of the ducks are in a row so that they can hand deliver those working drives to
because it'll help your production and it'll help your pocket also.
Yes, save you time and money. If an editor has promised you that they're going to finish a project in 4 weeks and it's going to take approximately 100 hours, but you're delivering a project that's disorganized with files everywhere and it's going to end up being 500 hours in 5 months, you can see how that cost can quickly add up. So post-production, getting it right during production is going to make your life so much easier, guys. This is a big mistake that we made when we were starting out, a costly mistake, costly mistake. So be sure to steer clear. And if you don't follow anything else, we think that this is one of the most important steps out of the content that we have delivered that you should really
and this
listen
is why
it's
important for podcasts like ours. You know, you need to listen. Yes. You know, because this is through experience. You know, everything pretty much like I said, this is not scripted. This is what we actually went through. Yes. And we can prove it to you. Like, this is what we went through.
So true.
And like you said, the editor is very important. Even if you can't afford one, find ways to get somebody on set.
So true. Absolutely, guys.
Because it's going to help you, help your production, and help your pocket also.
And then actually help the final project. What you put out there, you want it to be the best that it can be. And if the editor can't find the right footage, even though you shot it, right, you've wasted time and money during production. But now you're going to have a subpar finalized project because you couldn't find the footage that you were looking for. So be sure, guys, to make sure that you do that. Stay on task. Make sure to bring the adequate tools to set for during production, drives, and the proper person to organize, just so that you don't have the nightmares in post-production. Yes. So post-production episode number 8. This is a big one, guys. Take notes, rewind. And again, be sure to subscribe to our podcast. We are available on all of the podcast platforms. Subscribe. Please download these episodes so that you can go back and refer to them.
Exactly.
And if you found this content helpful, please give us 5 stars. Like it on YouTube. Subscribe, and again, we'll put the links to some of the drives that we utilize in our description, just so that you know what the starting point is, and just do what's best for your budget.
Yeah. Don't forget to hit the bell, because like I said, we got way more coming your way. But in order for you to listen, you will have to subscribe to our channel.
You have to get those notifications, guys. Turn them on. As soon as those videos and podcasts are released, you'll be the first one to get that notification.
Yeah, because this information is for you filmmakers, out there, no filmmakers. You need to, this is for you. This podcast is for you.
So true. So true.
It's for you. So we want to help you save money. And we don't want you to make the same mistakes that we made. Those mistakes, they were very costly mistakes, like Bridget said.
Yes.
But right now you have this platform. This platform is for you, and we're gonna help help you.
Yes.
And guide you. Through it.
So guys, we always appreciate you guys tuning in. This has been the Taylormade Film Business Podcast, saving you time and saving you money. Costly mistakes being avoided here in episode number 8.
Exactly.
Thank you once again for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe.
And hit that bell.
Yeah. So guys, once again, thank you so much. I have been your host, Bridget Charles.
And I am Tony Charles.
And until next time, stay safe.
Stay safe. Wash your hands and wear your mask. Peace. You're listening to
Taylormade Podcast.